Hello, happy Wednesday. My name is Beverly Hosford. This is Erin Nitschke. We are on the National Federation of Professional Trainers Facebook page, NFPT, which is a fitness personal trainer certification company and continuing education provider. We are here every week on Wednesdays talking about topics that pertain to fitness professionals, trainers, and really anyone that runs a client-based business could benefit from what we chat about. Today we're going to talk about some questions, actually 5 questions that you could ask your clients to influence change. So last week we talked about Seth Godin, who is a new mentor of ours this year. I'm going to toss that into the comments. And we talked about him, and he is all about like getting people to make a change. Like that's the thing. And that's the heart of personal training and fitness. So we thought about it, and we want to bring you these questions that you could ask your clients or yourself if you're trying to make a change in your fitness habits or goals. So we're going to get to that in a minute. But first we have a birthday today. Birthday, Erin.
Thank you. Thank you, Billy.
So I just want to say happy birthday. How are you, my birthday friend?
I am good. I'm good. I'm enjoying my birthday so far. Lots of birthday love coming my way. It just makes me so grateful.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got a birthday. I know it's also my cousin's birthday today, which is kind of fun. 2 birthdays today. My cousin Beth. I don't know if she'll be watching us today, but if you're here with us, say hello. Tell us where you're watching from. I am in Montana. Erin is in Wyoming. And NFPT headquarters is in Indiana. We are a national company. We're all over the place. And sometimes we get together in Florida, and sometimes we go to California for conventions. Usually we like to go to the warmer places because we all live in the colder.
Yeah. Yes.
So today, like I said, is we're going to talk about these 5 questions. And really what we want to talk about today is getting your clients or yourself committed to fitness goals, because without commitment and consistency, goals are just goals. And we really feel like these questions could help boost motivation. They could help push your clients to think about exercise from a more holistic approach, dig a little deeper. And, you know, a lot of times when people are trying to like meet goals or like make a change, they always tell you like, figure out the why. You've got to figure out the why. But, you know, the why is important, but there's also some other things to think about. So we're going to get started with these 5 questions. Erin, why don't you roll out number 1 for us?
Okay. So first, thank you everyone for the beautiful birthday wishes. I'm seeing lots of comments pop up. Oh, it makes me feel just so loved. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
So first question, I think, will be completely obvious, because I think you need to get to the heart of why your client is seeking your service in the first place. So what are the top 2 barriers to your health or health problems that you seem to be facing? And get them, and don't just ask yes, no questions. That's why these questions are open-ended, because it's part of that motivational interviewing to kind of peel back each layer with every subsequent question you ask. And so asking your clients to really think, what are your top 2 health problems that you perceive, and get them to talk a little bit about it. Because oftentimes they come to us for our services, but really there's something deeper going on, and we're never going to know that if we just assume they're there because, well, I want to lose weight and I want to get stronger. There's probably some other things going on, like maybe it's stress. And in that conversation, you can talk a little bit about, okay, so I hear you saying these things, you know, reflect back to them in that conversation and find out, okay, so tell me a little bit about a day in your life. What things kind of go on? So you kind of have to pull out those responses a little bit more, because in their minds, they feel like their biggest problem is I'm overweight, or I just need to fix something physical. But it might, the root of it might not be physical. That the physical might just be kind of a side effect of whatever else is going on health-wise. So it's important to ask that question and get them to think about it.
Yeah, or their problem might be related to something that has something to do with health, and it's just that I don't have time. I know that's like the number 1 problem people have. And if that's a perceived barrier, then I think that's important. And that's something that kind of ties into one of our other questions about beliefs. But I think that sometimes, people, it's interesting when you ask a question like, about a problem or a challenge, what might come out, it may not be what you expected. You might expect to hear about weight loss or something, but when you use the word problem or challenge, I think that's the key there.
Very much so. And when you have conversations, it's different when you have an oral conversation with someone versus putting a questionnaire in front of them.
Yeah.
They're going to have a much more difficult time sidestepping the truth, or, you know, having to look you in the eye and say what it is that they would just easily jot down on a form, because it's a conversation. So that's another important piece is, you know, you got to get on the phone with them. You got to look them straight in the eye, have some sort of organic conversation that allows you to have them open up to you. And then in that process, you build that relationship as well.
Sweet. Yeah. What's your biggest problem with exercise, Erin?
I think I tend to be too hard on myself a little bit, because I think as a fitness professional, you know, there's a certain image that we are not necessarily held to, but that people perceive. And so to get people to take you seriously, you do need to practice what you preach, but you don't got to be crazy about it. Don't lose your head. And you don't, you know, have to, not every fitness professional runs marathons, believe it or not. Not every fitness professional does strongman competitions, and that's okay. So I think I can get myself caught up in the like, oh, I should do something different, or I should do something harder. And then I'm like, no, calm down. It's fine. Like I think we fight that standard a little bit. And I think that then in turn kind of influences us in a little bit different of a way. And I think the older I get, the easier it is for me to be like, I don't care. You do you. I'm going to do me. We'll be just fine. But yeah.
Great. My biggest challenge is getting started. Like I gotta get myself going, and then once I get going, I'm pretty good to go. So tricks that like help me get started help me. So if I was hiring a trainer, they'd have to be really savvy on like, how do I get her started? And getting me started is usually saying, you only need to do this for 3 minutes. And then I start doing it, and then I want to do more. That's
right.
me.
Like you can do anything for 60 seconds, you know, that type of thing.
Totally.
So, yeah.
If any of our listeners want to share their biggest problem or challenge, we'd love that. And if you liked question number 1, type a 1 into the comments. And also, if you're digging this episode so far, click the share button and share it with your audience, share it with your friends, get them over here. The more the merrier. So tell us, number 1, if you liked the first question, which is on the screen here, and what are your top 2 health fitness problems, or share a problem with us if you want. So what's number 2, Erin? Let's get on to number 2.
So number 2 is asking your clients, what are your favorite activities? And frame it as activity is my advice versus exercise. Those are often terms that are used interchangeably, but they are not defined the same way. Exercise is typically very structured, regimented, regular. Activity is a little bit looser in terms of how it's defined, and it can include leisure time activities, you know. So frame it as that, and get your clients to talk a little bit about, say they have kids. Well, I really like to play soccer with my kids. Mm-hmm. That counts as activity. Mm-hmm. You know, even if it's random, even if it's like only a couple days a week or something like that, it's still activity. And so it's really twofold asking that question. The first part of it is you as the trainer need to understand what they like and what they don't like. So if somebody comes to you and says, I hate to run, please don't put them on a treadmill. Please don't do that. I mean, a warm up is fine, walking, but you know, you got to think beyond that, especially if there's somebody that's struggling with activity anyway. That's going to be even more difficult and kind of push them a little bit further away if they think, oh my gosh, that person just like did not hear a word I said. So frame the question to find out what it is they like to do. What about movement do they enjoy? Mm-hmm. And then the second part of that is you get to know your client a little bit more. You get to understand them as a person. And then that helps you be a little bit more creative in your encouragement of them to be active outside of sessions. Because I think one thing I've observed with clients is they think that, well, I don't meet my trainer today, so I don't do anything. No. no. That's not how it's going to work out. Not how it's going to play out. So it helps you be creative when you program for them holistically. Then it's not just about the 3 days a week or the 2 days a week that they see you. It's what are they doing on those active rest days? So what can you build into their program? So it's just a way of getting the most information you possibly can out of a very simple question. What types of activities do you like?
Yeah. Yeah, that question can open up all sorts of doors for information, for conversation, for encouragement. Yeah, and even if their favorite activities are, say, knitting and reading, and that's not even really a physical activity, it opens that door.
Yes, it does. And it gets at the heart of who they are as a person, and things that might not otherwise, you wouldn't necessarily learn about it unless maybe you were in a session and you've been working with them for a while, and then you kind of get into that point where you've got that relationship, that friendship of sorts, and you know a little bit more about them. But the more that you can gather about your client early on, the easier it is for you to build and sustain that relationship.
Yeah, it's a good question to ask. I even remember after grad school, which I worked, all I did was work, eat, sleep, exercise, and write. And then I jumped right into training, and I was working as much as I could. And then I remember I met a new friend, and she's like, "What do you like to do for fun?" And I was like, work out. And it's like sometimes you have to re-explore some other hobbies or some other things, and just asking that question can help reinvigorate someone to what they enjoy in life. So I think that's really important.
I don't know.
Hello. Welcome back.
I'm back. Right. I just took a break.
So going back to number one, Billy said sleep and motivation are his biggest challenge. Okay. And then John is kind of like you, Erin. He said he thinks 50 is the new 20. Sometimes I have to back off, which is difficult for me to accept. So that was from question number one. So question number two is about what activities you enjoy. So tell us what Oh, Angie's already on it. Good job, Angie. And Irene, I love having the conversation of asking what activities are enjoyable. Physical activities doesn't necessarily mean exercising in a gym. Even if he or she plays a sport for leisure, it can be measured by physical activity. Beautiful. Awesome. And then Angie says, I love to hike and bike, being in nature, which is something I never thought I'd enjoy. But as I age, I appreciate the outdoors and the beauty of nature. So couple it with some nature fitness. My struggle is wintertime. I get bummed by it, and I need to get out of the hibernation mode. Wow, our listeners have a lot of awareness. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
So yeah, anyone else? Feel free to share your favorite activity. I think you guys know mine is skiing and hiking. If you want to get me motivated to exercise, it better have something to do with skiing and hiking or with my little one. Like I'm still trying to get my abs back together. They're still a little bit separated. And so I am motivated to get those back together because that's involved with having another child, is getting those abs back together and for pregnancy. So anyway, if anybody has an activity they want to share, or if you liked question number 2, put a 2 in the comments. Mandy says getting outside in the sun.
Yep.
And so yeah, throw number 2 up there if you like that question. Give us an answer. What's your favorite activity? And let's get on to number 3. Erin, what's number 3?
Okay, so number 3 is, it's really to try to make a positive spin, because we tend to, and on all our intake forms and things like that, it's asking about family history, health history, how active are you, those types of things. So asking your clients, what's your greatest health strength? What do you do really well? And help build on that positive foundation, because it's very easy for all of us. I think it's human nature. I don't really know why or what fabric of our human being or essence makes us lean towards that other way, like focusing on the issue itself versus celebrating, I do this really well. Mm-hmm. And I think your clients, the majority of them, when they come to you, they're not going to know that answer, and they're probably going to sit there and go, oh, well, so that's when you can start asking those other probing questions, because they need to have something positive to be that little carrot. Like, yes, I do this really well. There's no reason I can't meet this other goal. So helping them frame it in a positive way, I think, is really important for them. And it makes them feel good inadvertently, because that's maybe not necessarily your primary intention, but when they walk away, they're like, yeah, and they give themselves a compliment. People don't do that naturally. I mean, some people do, but you know, it's less common than we think it is. So that's what that question is designed to do, and just helping you as a trainer understand, okay, that's something I can build on. That's something that I can help. That's the scaffolding for my program, or the way that I'm going to connect with this person or encourage them, and remind them, hey, you do this so well, and giving them like a minimum of 2 compliments, you know, and helping them build that self-esteem, because part of success is self-efficacy. And when our clients come to us and they don't have it, they don't have that belief that they can accomplish this on their own, or they have the skills, tools, and fortitude to do it, our job is to help them find that. And that's where that coaching piece comes in. And so asking that question can help you build upon that foundation that's already there for them.
Yeah, I love that. And you can even try to help them discover, like, why is that so easy for you? Or why is this a strength of yours? And how can we take that information and apply it to the other goals you want to achieve? Like, say their biggest strength for health is nutrition and cooking. And it's like, you can even go a little further with like, well, why is nutrition and cooking so easy or natural for you? And why is that something that you do so easily? And like, you can kind of just really dig into that and get to know them, and then use that information towards like, okay, well, you want to do more strength training exercise. So how can we take the motivation you use for nutrition and apply that in a different way? So you can get real creative, I think.
Right.
We've got some comments popping up. Billy likes to blacksmith, hike, and walk dogs. There you go. Well, that's great, Billy. That seems like it's helpful for motivation. Go walk those dogs and maybe stop at the park, do some push-ups.
Yep, there you go. Some lunges.
April says, I love my group training class. I love being around others while I work out. It makes us feel like we're in it together. It keeps me accountable. That's awesome to know that about yourself. Mandy says, I like tracking my steps, maybe. My foot every day, maybe my step. Okay. Food. Food. Here we go.
Oh, food. Okay. That too.
Tracking her food. Yeah, and those words, they give you keys. Like if she likes tracking, you can take that tracking word and you can carry it into other items. So that was for question number 2. But question number 3 was all about, what is your greatest health strength? So tell us, everyone, what is your greatest health strength? And what if you'd like to number question number 3, just type a 3 in if you're a little more shy, so that we know you're here. And I'm trying to think of what my greatest health strength is. I guess I use the nutrition example because food is definitely, I like food. I like cooking. I like how it's relaxing to prepare it. I like going to the grocery store. So I think that, that's kind of my natural health strength. What's yours, Erin?
I think my one, nutrition for sure. I love to try new recipes and I guess connect with the nourishment of that food. I mean, food's either medicine or it's poison in many ways. And so I like being aware of how I feel when I eat something, trying a new recipe, things like that. So that's definitely, I like to explore in that way. So I think that is a strength of mine. And then I think just my commitment. I am consistent and committed 100%. There are days like, when I don't feel well, I don't try to push myself. There are days that I have to have that conversation with myself, or Mark has to tell me no working out, none, go to bed, So yeah, my motivation, I'm very intrinsically motivated. It's not about the extrinsic reward for me, but I think that's related to personality, but I think it's also related to the fact that like, this is our field. We wouldn't be in it if we didn't have a certain belief about its benefits.
Yeah, which is why it's great to ask these questions, because we do have that intrinsic motivation. We understand the benefits inside out, and sometimes that's not going to be there naturally for someone else. So awesome. Let me see if we get any comments about question number 3. Billy likes cooking healthy food is probably his greatest strength.
Nice.
And so we got a conversation going on about autocorrect. No big deal. Let's put up question number 4. Erin, what's number 4?
So question number 4 gets at the heart of your client's beliefs, their perceptions about fitness and health. So asking them, so what is it that you believe about fitness and health? And you might be surprised when you do ask that question, because it does force them. I mean, I think surface wise, you know, there's certain common answers like it's all or nothing, no pain, no gain. It's, you know, I got to be in the gym 7 days a week, or man, I've gained, you know, X amount of weight. I got to do cardio 100%. So it gives you some insight as the trainer to know, okay, where their belief system might be rooted and how you can help educate and shape those beliefs, and not in a way that they're right and you're wrong or vice versa. It's just about an understanding of perhaps why they feel the way that they do about something. And I think social norms are going to come into play. I think those, you know, socially prescribed standards are something that we all fall victim to. It's just like I talked about in the Gaga for Body Shaming blog post almost a year ago in February. Even the fitness professionals fall victim to that at one time or another. So it's getting at the heart of what they actually believe about activity and what it means to be healthy. Because, you know, for example, someone might say, well, you know, I believe that to be fit, you have to be thin. And that's, we know from research, we know as the professionals, we know that's simply not true. And that fitness isn't a shape, it's a state. And so that's something that you can help educate them about. And then it also gives you insight into their mindset. You know, maybe what's blocking them, or what's, I mean, believe it or not, there's psychology to it. Even though we're not psychologists, you have to kind of understand how their mind is working. And so you have to come at it from where they are, not where you are. So don't, when you're asking these questions, don't look for your opportunity to reply. It's not with the intent to reply, it's with the intent to understand. And so it's your role to be mostly quiet, but ask those questions. This is not the point that you dispel beliefs or shame their perception. You shouldn't do that anyway. But that comes later. This is information gathering. Think about it as an investigation, just like you would when you do a fitness assessment. You're trying to determine a benchmark and where they're from, where they're coming from. So the beliefs are really important. And that might also influence how you decide to program for them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I found this to be really helpful recently because I'm going through this sleep program right now. It's a cognitive behavioral therapy program, and I'm doing it partially to learn and partially, I mean, my sleep's pretty good, but it's interesting to see this approach. Since I'm presenting on sleep science this summer at IDEA, I want to make sure I learn as much as I can. And so anyway, in this program, they give you 10 beliefs about sleep, common negative beliefs, and they ask you to pick the ones that mostly resonate with you. And an example would be like, I didn't get enough sleep last night, so today is going to be a bad day. And they say that in the research, they did research with people where people got up in the morning and what they told themselves about how they slept the night before affected their results on a like a test where they had to focus and pay attention type. I forget how they put it, but like basically they all took the same test, and the people that believed they got a good night's sleep actually did better and had better attention and like awareness and alertness. Alertness was the word I think they used.
Yeah.
And they were able to focus easier, even though I think they were sleep depriving everybody by like cutting their sleep down to 6 hours or something. And the people that told themselves that and then were told that like 6 hours is enough and were shown special research, they actually did better on the test. So anyway, it's interesting what our beliefs can do with that. So they give you these 10 statements, and then you pick the 3 that resonate with you the most. And then they give you reverse statements where like, so if you believe that you didn't get enough, and it'd be like, I believe that 6 hours of sleep is not enough. And then it's like, well, just tell yourself 6 hours of sleep is enough, which can be a problem in its own. That's a whole other story. But what I'm trying to say is that if your client has a hard time coming up with beliefs, you could make a list of common health beliefs. Like you said, no pain, no gain, all or nothing. To be healthy is to be skinny. And you could give a list to them and ask them to circle them. And that might help them to come around to that. Because I know sometimes when people say like, what are your top 3 beliefs? I'm like, I can't think of anything. Yeah, dirt. So that was just one idea that
Yeah.
that I wanted to throw in there, or something that I found really beneficial for me with the behavior change program I'm doing right now.
Yeah, very true.
So let's see. Let's go to our comments. If you guys have any health beliefs you want to share, toss them in there. BMI and other markers used in healthcare drives the weight equals fitness.
Oh, John, you are so right. And it's so annoying. Like, really, let's get over the whole BMI thing. Okay.
Billy says change is inevitable, growth is optional.
Someone once said.
Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, so if you have and I think one of my biggest health beliefs these days is that fitness should be fun and health should be fun or enjoyable. And that's kind of what I live by. It's like my fitness should be fun and enjoyable. So finding ways to make it that way. And even like I'm trying to work on this rectus abdominis separation. So I decided to put the money out there and go see someone that can help me with it. And for me, that makes it more fun. It's more enjoyable because now I have a practitioner who's helping me, and that's how I'm going to achieve that goal. And that's why people hire personal trainers, I think, to make it hopefully more enjoyable. So let's see, we just got, Mandy just says, every workout don't work for everyone.
Very true. That gets at the heart of the individualized approach. You might have two people with the same data and the same, fitness level, and you put them through the same workout, and there's a psychological variable in there that has been overlooked. And that's individual interest and ability. So it's very important to know that, like, you don't just have a set of workout of the day and you hand it out to every client that comes through your door. So it's, absolutely. And asking that type of question or giving them a list of statements that are commonly held beliefs or misperceptions is really important for you to see what is it that they do believe. And then you can help, broaden that or help cast a wider net in terms of what they do believe by presenting them with information and talking to them a little bit about, research, and not in a way that in this one controlled study with blah, 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 like, they don't care. God, no, don't make it boring. Talk about, like, Harvard Medical did a study that examined X and Y, and this is what they found. Interesting. That type of thing, and starting to have those conversations.
Yeah, totally. It helps you decide what information to present, no question. Mm-hmm. So if you guys have any health beliefs you want to share with us, or you can even share like a health belief a client had that was one that you wanted to work on. And if you liked question number 4, type a 4 in there. And then let's get on to question number 5, Erin.
So the last question is about exercise environment. Ask your client, what's your ideal exercise environment? We don't really ask that question too often. And yet when we examine barriers and benefits and we bring in like the, stages of change model, and then we discover, well, they don't like the gym atmosphere. They don't like the time of day. So, okay, maybe there's an opportunity for you to train them in their home. Maybe when the weather's nice, you do some fun outdoor activities. Meeting them at their level, because not everybody, gyms are a place that have all encompassing, equipment and, all of that space and weights and craziness and chaos. And it's great, but it doesn't work for everyone. Just like every workout doesn't work for everyone, or every nutrition plan will not fit every individual. So you've got to understand, what's the ideal environment? Do they like low lighting? Do they like, quiet? So is there a different time of day that you can program for them? What are the things you can do to help meet those needs? And honestly, there's only so much you can do. There are some things that are outside of your control, and recognizing that is important. Don't promise them the moon. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. Don't do that. But you need to have an understanding of what works for them, because if that environment is such that it makes them comfortable, that in and of itself will help to foster change, and it will help encourage them and motivate them, versus bringing them in at the freaking noon hour and everybody's in their booty shorts and doing whatevers. That might just send them screaming the other way. It would me. I'd be like, no, this is not my jam. I'm out of here. So understand what it is that they need environmentally. It's not just about, okay, they need to strength train and they need to, you know, work on their flexibility or postural strength. What is it that, what environment will help them accomplish those things? And that's something that kind of we set aside and don't really think about because, well, if we work in a gym, the gym is the gym. But this is an opportunity for you to use your creativity.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to the trainer or the professional, making sure you're working in an environment that makes you your best self, because A, then you're going to perform at your best, and B, you're going to attract people that are similar to you, which is going to make everybody happier. So make sure you're choosing a gym. Like the gym that I trained at for 10 years had natural light. It had a patio so you could go outside to exercise. It had lots of equipment, and it had lots of different rooms. And so we had one really big room where you could be more social. We had smaller rooms, and I liked that, so that each client, I could cater the workout not only to what they liked, but sometimes some of them needed to be taken away from the crowd because they wouldn't focus. And sometimes I would ask my client, like, what are you going to be doing today? And they'd be in their office all day. So I'd be like, what do you think about going outside for a little bit? So I think, picking a gym or a facility that gives you those options. And if you just love the gym atmosphere, like you love that underground dark cave, like nothing will distract us, then great. That's awesome. Just make sure you know that about yourself, but don't get hired at a gym like that if that's not your jam. So I think it's important to first choose your environment, and then you can help your clients to choose theirs.
Yeah, I think that's extremely important. I used to go to a gym here in town and enjoyed it for a little while, but I'm an early morning exerciser, and there was a separate cardio room and a separate weight room and like a circuit room. It's a very nice facility, especially for a really tiny town. There's nothing wrong with the facility. But in the cardio room, like the ceilings were really low, and like at 5:45 a.m., all the fluorescent lights are on, and it's like 7 inches from the midday sun. No, can't handle it. So I quit going. I'm like, I don't like this. I do not feel like, I got to a point where I dreaded it. And I'm a fitness professional. And I thought, okay, if this were my client, what would I tell him? Right. And I'm like, I need to adjust this because this is not meeting my needs. It doesn't make me feel comfortable. It's crowded. And then the cardio machines, like I can basically smell my person next to me.
Yeah.
I need my space. Okay. Yeah. Like I'm a hugger and all that. But when I work out, like I don't want to sweat on someone else or breathe on them. It's just very unpleasant. So environment's important. So make sure you as a trainer know what your environment is, but don't assume that the client that comes in the door will subscribe to that same environment.
Totally. Yeah. And level of music can really affect people. And it's not going to be helpful to have extra treadmills in the gym if nobody's coming to the gym because they don't like your gym. So that's really important. Let's bring up some of these comments here. Let's see. We already saw that one. Irene says, John, I couldn't agree more. I once had a doctor tell me that 5'4", 120 was overweight and I should weigh 110 to follow a normal BMI. That's a bummer.
Well, and 5'4" and 110 is not overweight according to a BMI calculation. So I think his math skills might be a little.
Yeah, I'm 5'4" and like 130. So, ooh.
Yeah. No.
That's where body fat testing is so important. Mm-hmm. Mandy says working out when a football game on helps on the TV. Not too many people in the gym. Okay. So that's just telling us about her environment.
Yep.
Really like private fitness studios, picking his own music, one-on-one. And John says, I never train where I work. I have a great gym at home and nobody's using the equipment I want to use. Absolutely. Yeah, I know a lot of people that do that. They get a membership somewhere other than where they work because they want to separate and they like to leave work and go somewhere else to train. And I get that because I remember somebody was telling me recently that they're trying to get themselves motivated to work out, but then like a gym opened across the hall from their office and they're like, now I have no reason not to go. And I'm like, yeah, except you could even work in a gym and not be motivated to work out.
Absolutely. So true.
Awesome. So that was question number 5. If you guys like that one, type of 5. A lot of you have already jumped on and told us your environment. So Yeah, just to run back through these questions. Number 1, what are your top 2 health and fitness problems? Number 2, what are your favorite activities? Number 3, what's your greatest health strength? Number 4, what are some of your health fitness beliefs? And number 5, what's your ideal exercise environment? So yeah, just try to work those in a little more for yourself or for your clients or anybody who's trying to make that health change. So does anyone have anything else they want to share before we sign off for the day? You have a few seconds here. I think next week we're going to talk about unique ways to get more clients and to meet people. So we're just in, month of February is coming up. It's the month of love. So if you're not into the dating scene, we're going to teach you how to date. Or we're going to talk a little bit about how to meet people, because once you're married or settled, or if you're not interested in dating, certainly you want to meet people and broaden your network, because having a strong network is the heart of every good business. And so next week we're going to talk a little bit about how to do that and how to find a way to network that maybe resonates with you, because there's more than one way to do that. So we're here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. If you like this episode, please click the share button and share it with your audience. And is there anything else you want to add, Erin, or are we good?
No, I think I'm good. I think the biggest lesson in all of this is just don't make assumptions. Yeah. Seek to understand and figure out who this person is, not just what they're coming to you for. Like, what are they presenting with? So just set the assumptions aside,
Yeah, and help them figure out who they are, because sometimes people don't even have a clue. Like they don't even really know where to begin. So you can help them on that. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. We will see you next Wednesday at 10, and have a great Wednesday.
Yes. Thanks for the birthday wishes.